No, I sent you a video about that. No, I sent it to you on the other, oh my gosh. Sorry, I have to call you back. That was embarrassing. Sorry about that. But, now that we're on the topic, when was the last time you used your phone? Think about it. Maybe it was in the last, you can raise your hands here, 5 minutes? 10 minutes? 15 minutes? Maybe you checked an email while getting out of your seat. A quick scroll through your messages to check up on someone. It could be anything, really. Well, I'm willing to bet that you've been told by your grandparents, your parents, your teachers, your brothers, your sisters, your mother, your aunt, your uncle, that you should get off your phone. But you and I both know it's not that simple. I mean, I need group chats to do anything in school. I need Google Maps to know how to get home in the morning, and come on, I need music to pump me up. For me, if there was even a moment of silence in my life, my phone would become my lifeline. Sat on the bus to get back home? Scroll. Conversations getting a little dry with someone I completely forgot the name of? Scroll. Conversations getting dry with one of my friends? Scroll. And for a while, that was fine. Until the day my phone completely died. Dead, frozen. An unusable black screen. And at first I thought, this is fine, I can do this. Spoiler alert, I could not do that. Within the first hour, I realized how much I depended on that thing. None of my alarms went off. I couldn't text anyone. I couldn't call anyone. I couldn't even take a selfie. And come on, who doesn't want to look at this face? My friends were all eagerly talking about some hot new internet gossip, something that appeared happily on the internet, and I was out of the loop. 2 lunch periods felt like an eternity. It was like I had been unplugged from the world. My brain had done exactly what it was programmed to do. It panicked. I felt frantic. I was looking for a phone that wasn't there. I was uncomfortable, restless. But the reaction wasn't random. It was neurological. Research from Dr. Gloria Mark at the University of California, Irvine found that the average person switched between tasks every 47 seconds, largely due to digital distractions. When we're not actively focused on a task, we begin to lose stimulation in our brain. But that doesn't mean that we're constantly bored. Every 47 seconds, which means that our brains constantly switch between tasks, largely due to digital distractions. But that doesn't mean that we're lazy or bored. Eventually, with nothing to do, and I began to feel incredibly bored. My phone was out of my head, and I constantly felt annoyed. I felt bored. But here's the thing. Boredom isn't just the lack of stimulation in your brain. It's actually a state of mind that can change how you function. In a study done by the Creativity Research Journal in 2014, they found that participants who had completed a boring task beforehand were able to succeed at a creative problem-solving task afterward. That's because boredom forces your mind to turn inward. When you're not actively focused on a task, a network in the brain called the default mode network becomes active. Neuroscientists have linked this network to memory consolidation and long-term planning. According to neuroscientist Dr. Marcus Raichle, a Harvard neuroscientist who actually helped develop the default mode network, it is most active when we're daydreaming or simply reflecting, which are precisely the moments that we eliminate when we replace silence with scrolling. But we avoid boredom, almost aggressively. In a well-known study by Dr. Timothy Wilson at the University of Virginia, participants were asked to sit alone in a room with nothing to do for 15 minutes. I know, harrowing. No music, no magazines, nothing. Especially no phones. Their only form of entertainment would be in the form of a small red button that would deliver a mild electric shock when pressed. And before I tell you, who do you think pressed the button more, men or women? Hands for men? Hands for women? Well, 2/3 of men and 1/4 of women ended up pressing the button, with one man even pressing the button 190 times. That study reveals something important. We don't avoid boredom because it's actually painful. We avoid boredom because we've trained ourselves to avoid it. And technology makes that avoidance incredibly easy. In a study by David Ellis at the University of Lancaster, the average person would check their phone 80 times a day, oftentimes unconsciously. That's because social media platforms use variable reward systems, things like unpredictable likes, notifications, and updates that keep us hooked by activating dopamine pathways in the brain that reinforce habitual checking behavior. That doesn't make us lazy or weak. It just makes us human. But when every quiet moment is filled with scrolling, we lose the part of our brain that can reinforce deeper thinking. When I didn't have my phone, I could feel myself thinking more thoroughly and deeply. I started to realize things that I never really noticed before. Things like how the wind would flow through outside my window. One day, I just sat there. I had nothing with me. My phone was in a different room, and the only thing in front of me was my empty Google Doc for my upcoming speech contest. And I sat there for 30 minutes. But when I did start typing, my words came together so easily. Everything flowed. My brain finally felt quiet. I managed to win first place, not to brag, but I give credit to the fact that I spent an afternoon doing nothing but being bored. Psychologists now link boredom to memory consolidation, attention regulation, creative insight, and even emotional resilience. That's because boredom gives your brain space to generate ideas instead of just consuming them. So the real issue isn't that we're constantly on our phones. It's rather that we've eliminated boredom entirely. So here's the thing, I'm not perfect either. Anytime I have more than 15 minutes to kill, I also find myself reaching for my phone. And that's okay. So here's my challenge, to me and to you. Let's give ourselves a little space to be bored. Not forever, not in a throw your phone into the ocean way, but for 5 minutes, maybe 10. Sit and relish those experiences in which your brain can finally find some quiet. Because if we never disconnect, we can never discover what our own minds can do. So I leave you with this. Are you brave enough to be bored? Thank you.